forces are everywhere. If you observe closely, you would notice that each and every organism applies forces to do their task, whether they know it or not. Forces are necessary to make an object move or to put a moving object to stop. The object will not move on its own. Movement or motion happens when there is a change in position or a distance is covered with the use of force. A force influences the movement of an object. It can even change the direction of its movement or alter its shape. So in this lesson, you would find out the relation between force and motion to an object. This relationship is described in the three laws of motion, which were formulated by Sir Isaac Newton. If you can still remember, he was the one who also discovered the law of gravity. So this time, let us come to know more and understand about the three laws of motion. Let's get started. Sir Isaac's first law of motion is also known as the law of inertia. Inertia is a tendency to do nothing or to remain unchanged. In this law, states that an object will remain at rest unless an outside force will make it move. Likewise, an object will continue to move unless there is an external force that will make it stop. Suppose that there is a ball resting on the ground. This ball will not move unless someone will kick it or another object hits it to make it move. Similarly, if the ball is rolling at constant speed along a straight line, the ball will continue to roll unless it bumps something or someone will step on it to make it stop. Another example is when a train or a bus suddenly starts, the passenger standing inside it falls backward. It happens because the feet of the passenger being in contact with the floor of the bus come in motion along with the bus, but the upper part of the body remains at rest due to inertia. Hence, the passenger falls backward. We should always remember that in Sir Isaac Newton's first law of motion, objects continue to do what they're doing unless some external unbalanced force acts on them. Let's keep going. Suppose that you kick a soccer ball from the ground, it would move away from you, right? If you kick a smaller ball, you would notice that the effect would not be the same. This situation demonstrates the law of acceleration. The second law states that the greater the mass of an object, the more force it will take to accelerate the object. As mentioned previously, acceleration is the increase in the rate of speed in an object. The law of acceleration is shown in pulling a grocery cart. It is easier to pull an empty grocery cart than a full one. There is more force needed to pull a grocery cart that is so full. You should always remember in the second law of motion that the greater the mass of the object being accelerated, the greater the amount of force needed to accelerate the object. Lastly, the third law of motion is also known as law of interaction. The third law states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. A flying bird is a good example to show the third law of motion. As the bird flies, its wings flap and push the air downward. At the same time, the air pushes and lifts the bird upward so that it flies. The forces are equal. The direction of the air is opposite to the direction of the force on the bird, which illustrates the concept of interaction. The same idea when you jump. Your legs apply a force to the ground, and the ground applies an equal and opposite reaction force that propels you into the air. This illustrates the law of interaction. Always remember that in the third law of motion, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Do not also forget that force and motion are always related. I hope you have learned about the three laws of motion. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and comment down below the things that you have learned.